Hey, welcome back to the table. We're getting ready to start mission 4, which we have some hope we can salvage 1942 now. So we had 0 pilots killed, and so we got 3 for the Gipper, which there's a lot of irony in that, but we'll go ahead and do that. So we are still in 1942, Germany North. That doesn't change. And this one was map number 1. I'm just filling in some of the stuff from the last mission. We are sitting on 6 experience points. Not quite enough, but let's go ahead and figure out what map we're going to do. So at this point, we don't want map 2. A 7 is an awful roll, and just the fact that I rolled a 7 that one time, that just blows chunks. I'm curious to try this one. I've never played Storm Above the Reich, ever. And so we, I know we're combining components right now, but we're basically playing Skies Above the Reich maps and Skies Above the Reich, stuff. The only thing different is we have some FW190 and some Storm Above the Reich skills. That's it. So, gonna go ahead and try to. I'm okay if we get an 8 to a 10, is what I'm trying to say. So I rolled a 7. Oh. Okay, I rolled a 7. It's map 2. All right. Before I get map 2 going here, I want to see something. Let's just look at a Storm Above the Reich map. I think because the Storm Above the Reich starts in 1943, we'll see this map a lot more in 1943, especially if we're Germany South or the Mediterranean. But that's what the map looks like. That's not too bad. That's not bad at all. It's a lot like map 1. And look, there's some zeros here. Although those zeros, I guess, because you're far away. Yeah, that's not bad. This is a lot like Formation A on map 1. Okay, so I just wanted to see it for myself. And we are going to do map 2 because we're crazy. And we roll 7s twice on a mission where we need 2 more experience points or we lose the game. We do have 3 missions remaining to do that, so we're going to go ahead and flip this over. And this is brutal. We're not going to be able to take those guys on very well. We're going to need a lot of help. Yeah, this is going to be a lost cause, I think. All right, so let's get out the sheet. And let's roll. All right, I got an outbound mission. So that means we're going to get only 1 victory point again for every kill, which is fine. I would rather get this 10 here on this roll or the other one. I got an 8, which is 6 OP. And then we're going to roll for the escort, and it's a 7, which is a very good roll. So it's an L5S. I'm writing it all off screen here. I was supposed to do my purchases before we did that, but that's okay. I won't, there's not much to worry about here. Okay, so we have 6 OP, so it just means we get to buy 6 guys. Looking at our experts here, Schmidt is the only expert we have for BF-109s, so we'll get him out. And then we have Ifland and Barr. So those are our 3 experts we have left in the game. We'll get all those out. I can get out the green guys, and the idea is I can get them experience points, but it's, again, I don't know why I need to be so Like, I think that's a luxury I would do if I'm winning. And right now I'm struggling just to get the 5 points I need to not lose. So I'm going to have to ignore the green guys. So I think what I'm going to do is, we have 2 FW190s, so we're going to add 2 more. So Clausen and Frey, so we can get our 4 that we need for the Schwarm. Schmidt is our expert there. I can get Oblaser. He's a veteran. So that's 6 right there. That's our 6 OP. And I know we're going to get to add 2 more because we're playing with the vectoring rules. So whatever the 2 more is going to be, I'll probably get like 1 more FW190 and 1 more BF109 just to make it so, in case we have to lose one or whatever, I can get the, I want to get the bonuses. Like if I can get the bonuses of Schwarm and all the other ones, I think we really could make a dent on these. Although map 2 is brutal. I mean, the threat level in map 2 is 4. Okay. We just have to be opportunistic when we go against these bigger maps without upgraded equipment. Okay, so we did all that. Now let's do the mission setup. So we're doing map 2 outbound, which is page 11. And that's 10. There's 11. Okay, let's roll our die. I rolled a 3. So we got this situation right here. We hit the 1 at the top, the 1 in there, and then this one in the front. So if I look at the board, we're going to go after the 1 on the top first. So the 1 on the top it's that. So I'm going to put that by him. And then the next one hit is this guy right here with that. And then the last one that's hit is this guy over here, like so. Okay, so let's bring the camera in a little bit more. Okay, gonna roll for the fuselage up there. I would have needed a 10, so I flipped that over, and that's 1 rudder damage. That's actually really good. This right here is a 10 wing. I got a 5, and there's 1 wing damage. And over there is a 7 engine. Ooh, and there it is. So a bomber has fallen. There's no experience points for anybody because this is like before we even arrived. But this bomber right here has fallen, and we could pursue him. I'm pretty sure that he's pursuable. Let me make sure. Okay, so the rules don't explicitly say, but I think you can infer the answer. So basically, the bomber was fallen before we ever arrived. So, it got shot down by flak over the target or by some other, staffel. So we get no experience, no nothing for this because it's destroyed before, it fell out of the group before we got there. So therefore, I'm going to vote that it's not on the map. Like, how can we pursue something that we never even witnessed disappearing? So it's that kind of concept. So wherever that bomber is, he's somewhere else. And so we won't add him to the pursuit map. But it does provide a -1 to that particular area. So those 4 spaces around it are now a lot lighter, which means that those 2 other planes that are in that formation with it, in that element, if you will, the element being this white line here, there's 2 other bombers in that element, and those bombers now suffer from a -1, especially in the nose direction. Okay, so I think that's a fair ruling. The rule book doesn't explicitly say, but I think you can infer it. Okay, so the anchor, and maybe the rule book does explicitly, I just couldn't find it. But okay, I rolled a 9, which means that there's no anchor. All right, so now we're going to roll for sun. And let me zoom out a little. Okay, I rolled an 8, and an 8 for the sun means there's no sun. So the sun helps us a lot. So that part's not so good. Now, these are the two areas where it'd be really nice to roll high. We roll a 2, so I get 1 tactical point. That is awful, absolutely awful. And then the flight limit is, I gotta roll somewhere else. I rolled an 8, so the flight limit is 10. So last time we had an awful flight limit, and what did I say? I rolled an 8, so yeah, it's 10 turns. Okay, so we know that we're playing the vectoring rules, so I'm going to go ahead and add the extra 2 for both. So the flight limit is max 12. The tactical points is only a wimpy 3. There is a possibility we can do some sort of contrails. There's no contrails on the map. We can maybe do some kind of regroup action. Since we have a lot of, the flight limit is super high, regroup is definitely something that we could try to do. And if I remember correctly, the escort on this one was Spitfires. So here they are. We're going to take the 2 in the middle and put those out because it's a light Spitfire group. And then it was a 6 or 5. So because they're coming home, they're going to arrive on turn 5. So that means escorts arrive here. So we're going to have a few turns without escorts harassing us, which is good. But then they're going to harass us for the rest of the time. So that's not good. Okay. What else? Now it's time to get the vector map. That's what else. And we got 2 extra OP. So we're going to get 2 more guys. And I think I said I was going to get 1 more. So we're going to get Aaron's. So 1 more FW190. And 1 more BF109. And we'll put those together. We're going to have 3 groups. So here's our swarm group. Here's our ideal group for causing us to get all of our attack advantages. And then these are our extras. So we're all going to go in for the far zone. And let's roll our dice. The bigger the number, the better is my experience. And a 10 is a weather, which is good. These 2 here are awful. The radio actually is not good either. I know we haven't gotten it much, but the radio turns into if it's even, then we get something. If it's odd, we lose stuff. So, okay. 1 group gets to go high. Sure, we'll do this. But it doesn't matter because now we go to the next round and all 3 groups are going to be together again anyways. So let's roll again. Oh, that's a 19. You saw that. That was a 19. And that is a straggler. So right here is the chart. So it says place a bomber marker in the zone. Roll a die. If it's an even, it gets 2 damage markers. So let's see. It's an odd, so it only gets 1. So here's our marker in the zone. And he's going to get 1 damage marker. And that damage marker is an engine. Do we do the catastrophic check on those? No, because he's already fallen. So it's going to be an engine. And I think I have to decide during the flight action if I'm going to intercept it. And my answer is yes. I want to intercept it. And I'm going to intercept it with, I can pick anybody I want. And Schmidt is my expert. What's his skill? He has the quick skill. Good question. Good question. It's definitely going to be a BF109. And I'm just trying to decide, do I want to send my expert after him or not? I'm going to send the expert after him. So Schmidt is going to engage him. And because I see the engine damage, I know I'm going to get 2 TP. because of the engine damage. So, you know, how much TP am I going to spend to pursue this guy? I'm going to spend 0 because I'm going to get 2 TP just from the engine damage alone. And I'm hoping that his expert skill will let him do enough hits that we can bring this thing down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and engage them, and I'm going to spend 0 of my 3 TP. I'm being a little too stingy, maybe. I was tempted to maybe at least spend 1 more, but I'm going to spend 0. Okay, and then I believe I can split and merge while I'm moving. So I am going to move all 3 of them to here, right? But I'm going to merge these 2 like so. And so I will have 3 groups like this. And then let's roll for the final spot. And that's a 17. That's an excellent roll. And here you can see we have a weather and another bomber. Oh my goodness. So let's roll. And I rolled a 9, which is odd. Odd because we have yet to get an even. But here we go. It's an engine. It's another engine. So it's another 2 TP. So we have another situation where I can basically send somebody for free. And I'm going to send the FW190 for free. And we're going to try to intercept this one as well. Now, do I want to give him another tactical point? And my answer is no. I'm going to save the 3 that I have because I need to be stingy. Or do I? You know what? I'm going to spend 1. I'm going to spend 1 for him. So we're down to 2. And I have my reasons, and I think we're going to be good there. And like I said, with the weather, that means this guy goes high. And when you're high, you can come in at any altitude that fighters may enter is level. And then when you're level, you can come in low. So these 2 are going to come in low. These ones are going to come in high. And I'm in a perfect position to get all 3 of my attack advantages. So we're going to come in level nose for them. Although, yeah, nose, because those 2 back there are most vulnerable from the nose position. Actually, they're pretty vulnerable from the tail as well. I could make those come in from the tail. And here's my reason, folks. These 3s become a 2 because of this, but these are already a 2, so they're 6 or 1/2, right? The other problem I have is how do I come in? I need to have more than 1 fighter in the same space. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good. The one guy that's gone, I do want to pick on those 2, but I think I need to go after this group over here. And I'll explain why. In order to get all 3 advantages, I got to come in from a side. And so when this guy's gone, I can only attack from the nose or the rear. And if I'm attacking from the side, there's no reason to go here. But with this guy here, I can come in from the nose after him, and I can come in from the side after him. Do you see how that works? And now I'm able to have multiple fighters in that space. I can have 2 fighters going after him and 1 fighter going after him. And then when I do a collision check, the fighter going after him is the one that would do the collision check. So these 2 that are going after him are going to be untouched. That is the Jeff strategy. I don't know if I should patent it or what, but it works. It works extremely well. And but it only works when the formation is just right. And you got to have your planes in just the right spot. Now over here, I can't do that because I can only go here, or there, and there's no way, like this guy's gone. So as much as I would like to pick on those 2, I think I'm going to pick on them later whenever all my planes are scattered and they have to just attack on their own individually. But now that when I can get swarm, I'm going to go after these guys. So that's the idea. All right, so with all that said, this is going to come in low over here, low oblique. It doesn't matter which side I come in low, but I'm going to come in on this side low. Yes, I am. Actually, No. I'm going to come in on this side low, up here. And the reason being is this one's already damaged, so I can pick on him. Okay, all right. With all of that now said and done, oh, I apologize. This guy has damage on him. It got moved from the vector board. So we have that one as well as a possible victim. And to be quite honest, both this and this are like equal in terms of being a target. Okay, let's do the pursuit map. Let's do the first one where I'm going to have 2 tactical points. And then we have an engine damage, and it's Schmidt. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Okay, this 2 comes from this, and then if I roll a 9 or 10, he's destroyed. I rolled a 2. So he's not destroyed. So now I get to do a first pass for free. We tried this last time because, hey, since it's the most expensive, it must be the one that works. But let's roll for the sun first. I rolled a 6. So the sun is in the back. So the sun is right here. So maybe I should come in high from there so I can have the sun advantage. And I will do that. So that gives me the sun advantage. And I'm going to come in determined. So we're going to do tail high against this guy. So the threat level is 1. Tail high 1 is a hit on him and nothing for us. And remember, he's quick, so he could have switched to this side. And the sun advantage didn't necessarily do anything for us, but we do get a hit, which that is the golden ticket right there. So let's see what we do to this guy. All right, so we don't deal with the front side, but we hit his wing for 4 damage. Ooh, it's 4 out of 5. We do have to roll a die because the chart here is always about rolling a die. If I roll a 9 or a 10, he bursts into fire. And I rolled a 9. So he is destroyed. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Okay, so all kinds of fantastic stuff just happened here. The first one is we're going to get victory points, and we got our 5 that we need. Or no, we didn't. We only got 1. Sorry about that. But the other thing is we're going to get all kinds of experience points. So 1 second. I want to verify, do we get experience points whenever a straggler comes onto the board? It's a weird question. I think a straggler just means that we overcame a straggler while we were trying to, to intercept. So yeah, there's no victory points for stragglers. Okay. I'm sorry, there's no experience points for the straggler, but now that we destroyed it, we get experience points for that. So I want to be very clear in how I'm explaining this. So for destroying him, we get 2 experience points for the staff, and we get 1 victory point. So that's what we get for destroying the guy. And so we're at 4 victory points. We need 1 more to avoid losing the game. And then for the fighter himself, this was Schmidt, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. And he gets 2 experience points for the kill. Okay, so excellent, Smithers. And that was, we accomplished that just by the vectoring minigame. So I guess the vectoring minigame, you live by the vectoring minigame and you die by the vectoring minigame. I don't know. It's hurt us and it's helped us, I guess. So let me get all these damage markers off the board. All right, so now this next one, we're going to have 3 TP because we gave ourselves 1 extra. Again, 2 of them is because of the engine, and we're going to roll for that. And we have Aaron here, and I rolled a 2. It was the black die, so he's not dead. And let's roll for the sun. I would say that's a 5, which is no sun. So we can come in at any angle. Let's get Schmidt out of here. Should we do a high tail, or should we try this because this is the most expensive one, right? Sure, let's do high nose. And no one knows if the high nose is the right nose. But let's try it. And so the threat level is 0. High nose, I'm doing determined. So I lose all my ammo, but I get 2 hits. Or I'm sorry, I only get 1 hit. So I'm going to lose all my ammo and get 1 hit. I don't know how great that is, but losing all my ammo means I'm done. So this 1 hit better be magical. So let's see. It is not magical. It's a gunner hit, which is awful. That doesn't do anything. If it was another engine, that would have been really nice. So what's going to happen is I'm out of ammo. So I can go here. I can spend TP to attack him again, but since I have no ammo, I'm not going to be able to hit him again. So this TP was a waste. And the bomber gets away. Nothing I can do. So Aaron ran out of ammo and produced nothing. Well, 1 out of 2 is still pretty good. I was really hoping to get 2 out of 2 there and not have to worry about this map so much. So now here we are. We're on turn 1. And I'm going to move this board a little bit closer to us so I don't have to reach so much and the camera can see a little better. And here we go. Turn 1. I have everybody exactly where I want them to be. If I want to, I can wait and get 4 TP points because I have 4 in a stack here. And this might be the best opportunity I have all game to do it because there's no escorts out there. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to wait. So I'm not going to move. There is no return. There's no escort. There's no recovery. There's no blast and flak. There is cohesion, but there's only 1 marker in each element. And so the whole turn, we're going to just do nothing. So we're going to go to turn 2. But before we do that, when we're in the, I believe it's the recovery phase. Yeah, I think that's when we do the group regroup. So page 9 in the advanced rulebook, regroup. Only happens during the recovering phase of the mission turn and only if a bomber is not already on the turn track. If there's fallen bombers on the turn track, you can't do it. Decrease the flight limit by 1, then count the number of fighters in a selected box and increase your TP. So they must be in the same box on the formation map. You can only select 1 box each mission turn for a regroup. You may not regroup on the pursuit map. And approach boxes, I don't think, count. I don't think you can do it if they're in the approach box. Because that is a box. It doesn't say, but that would be a little crazy. Because what I could have done is I could have said, okay, I'm going to move here to attack. And that's the move action. And then regroup is part of recovery. And then I can do, yeah, you know what? I think I can do that because it says box. These are approach boxes. So, all right, let me check the rules real quick. I'm going to pause. Okay, a regroup action occurs in a box. And you can see right here that those are boxes. So we can regroup. I think the penalty for regroup is that you lose a turn, right? So we're on turn 1, right? But the flight limit gets reduced by 1. So you're basically reducing your overall mission by 1. That's the real penalty. And then what that does is I have 4 fighters in that box, so I could go up 1, 2, 3, 4 tactical points. So now I'm up to 6. And that's the big thing, is to get up to 6 tactical points. So they would have moved to the nose. These guys are going to move to the oblique low. And now we're going to go ahead and do the attack. And remember, we're only on turn 1. We don't have to wait until turn 2 to do this. So off we go. All right. This one, what I think we're going to do is we can go ahead and we can pick on these guys or we can pick on that one. Let's go ahead and pick on this one back here. And here's what I want to do. So we're going to start with the 4 guys that were on the nose. They are level. So I'm going to grab 4 level tokens. And we're going to go ahead and have 2 in the same space. And all 4 of these are going to be determined. And they're going to go after him. And these are 2 of them that are determined in the same space. Okay, so a couple of things we're going after here. We're going to have 4 fighters in the same element. None of them are oblique. They're all coming from the nose. And for Rada and Schwarm, they have to be determined. So Rada has to have a space with 2 fighters, and they have to be the same fighter type and from the same approach box. So all 4 of the Schwarm came from the same approach box, the level nose. The 2 that are in the space together are from the level nose, and that's these 2 right here. So these 2 are from the same box, they're the same fighter type, and they are level nose, okay? These 2 here, we can put them somewhere else. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 there and 1 there. So we're going to go after all 3 bombers. And then here's where the magic happens. This one requires an element to be attacked from more than 1 altitude and position. It does not matter if they're determined or evasive. It just has to be a different altitude and position. These guys are low. That's a different altitude. And they're coming in from the oblique position, which is a different position. So what I'm going to do is Luce is going to come in, and he's going to attack this guy from the side, but he's going to be evasive. So when I drew a collision check, I pick 1 fighter in this space to be the victim of the collision check, and it's going to be my evasive guy. So that's what I'm going to do. And then Oblisser can go somewhere else, and he can actually go here and attack the same bomber that these 2 are attacking. And he could be evasive or not, but he's going to choose to go in direct. And so we're going to see if we can try to take out that bomber from the side. So we're really picking on that bomber. We're also picking on this one quite a bit. And then Bar is sort of doing his own thing. Okay, so we have all 3 advantages, or so far we do. But now we got to make sure we resolve the collision check. So we're going to do a collision check for him. And there is 1 type of collision check that can still ruin our day. It is not a perfect solution, folks. It's not perfect, but it's statistically very much in your favor. And here, I will show you. These are all the collision results that can happen. No collision would be perfect even if you were direct and didn't do my fancy maneuver. This one is the brutal one. You pay the TP cost and the fighter breaks away. If you do not pay, it exits. Actually, I'm okay. I'm okay with this one. So veer. If it's evasive, you treat it as no collision. That's the big advantage. I get to completely ignore this. This hurts me, but I can, figure out what I want to do. This, I get to completely ignore. This one, if it's in evasive mode, no collision. I get to ignore that. And here, if evasive mode, treat as no collision. So I ignore these, I ignore those, I ignore those. The only one that can hurt me is this one. Okay? And that one's always good, no matter which mode you're in. So I just effectively eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5 outcomes by doing what I did. And it is, I'm telling you, I would patent it if I could. It's that good. So I don't know how many people figured this out, but if you watch my videos, I tell you what, Player's Aid didn't figure that out. I can guarantee you that much. I highly doubt they even played it. Here we go. Oh, I don't need to roll a die. I'm drawing a token. All right. Proximity, no impact. Okay, now, here's the one thing that it was really funny because on Board Game Geek, the designer was like, well, why would you want to do it, the Jeff way? This token counts against the cohesion check if you're determined. But because we're not determined, I have to throw it back in the cup and it doesn't go on the board for the cohesion check. Who cares? The fact that you get to ignore all the negative effects of these tokens, except for the one, that's well worth it to not have one extra point towards your cohesion check. So yes, that is the one drawback, is I have to put this back in the cup and I don't get to put it on the board for cohesion. Now, if I had not done all my fancy stuff, I still would have been fine. This is the one situation where if you're a determined mode and you didn't do the Jeff method, this would have actually still worked just fine. Like you would have gotten your swarm and everything, because this is truly, nothing's wrong. Nothing happened. No collision. And there are a few of those no collision ones. You can see there's one that we could have ignored. There's one we could have ignored, and another one, and there's a no collision. So I mean, it's a mixed bag. But anyways, I've done enough bragging for a lifetime there. So let's get to the business of destroying things. So we have a swarm, we have a rata, and we have a position. We have all three advantages provided to us for this particular attack. So I made it to mission 4 before I could finally show my strategy that I usually do every single mission. That's how bad this game has gone. It's taken me 4 missions to do the thing that I always do. To do that thing that you do. So here we go. Which one do I want to do first? That is a great question. My guess is I want to pick on this bomber here. And I can pick on him with anybody I choose. This is a veteran. Do I have... These are 3 veterans that are going up against him. This is an expert. This is an expert. I probably should have sent an expert after him, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and choose Oblacer, the guy on the oblique end. Oblacer is oblique. So he's coming in low, determined. Oh, and then we have to decide where they're going to all end up. So Oblacer is going to... that's a good question. What is he going to do? All right, we'll assume that he's going to dive straight across. Well, that's bad because he's going to go into this 4 zone. So why don't we peel him away? We're going to go ahead and roll dive him towards the tail. How about that? Okay, yeah, that sounds good. And then Frey and all the other ones are going to climb towards the tail. And Bar is also climbing towards the tail. Iflin is climbing. And this one is going to roll dive towards the nose. So we're going to try to keep our swarm together, and then everybody else just sort of scatters. Actually, this one, well, he's evasive, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Is that really what I want to do? Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay, so we're going to do, what's his name? Oblique. He's low, oblique, and his threat level is 2. Low, 2, he takes a hit. And that stinks because he would have done damage over here, but he takes a hit. So that's what happens to him. I think we're going to go ahead and use one of our cancel a hit items. And nothing happens to the bomber. The number was a 1. So he will move 1 in this direction and then do continuing fire. And I will leave them on the board this time. So the threat level is 2. He's not climbing, so he does take another hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the other cancel. So we're going to try to save him. We've used up all of our cancel hit options already, but I think you don't want to take hits if you don't have to. It would have been nice maybe to protect somebody else, but it is what it is. Okay, so he's ready to go back. So now we're here. I could have used Swarm. So should I have used Swarm? And the answer is no, because I still have 2 more fighters attacking this bomber. So we're going to go ahead and do this one now. It is Fray. He is going to enter the fray. Yes, I am here all night. So the nose level, he's entering the fray with a threat of 2. So nose level 2, and there is a big whiff. The good news is he doesn't get hit either, but boy, oh boy, was that a big whiff. So he's going to move 2 spaces, and yeah, that really, that's not good. We're completely whiffing on this guy. All right, so he's going to go 1, and he stops there. We don't need the blue token anymore. So we'll take that off, and now we got to do a continuing fire, but that's an FW190, and the threat level is 2. And so if he was diving, he can change to evasive mode. So remember I told you that climb is usually more hurtful? Well, here you go. This is why. But he's climbing, so he does take a hit. And unfortunately, I can't block that hit because I've already consumed all my blocks. So let's see what happens to Mr. Fray here. And of course, we get a awful number. And my luck cannot continue like it did last time. I am not hopeful that I'm going to keep streaking a high roll there. That's an awful situation. It is the rudder, which if you look at the rudder damage, you actually crash on a 1 to a 6, but you only die if you roll a 1. So I say that as if, you know, geez, that should be easy. That's not always. Okay, now we're on Clausen. And Clausen is coming in from the nose level with a threat of 2. And look at this. He does 1 hit, and he's going to have no ammo. So this blows. But let's get our 1 hit in, and maybe, you know, we can take this thing down. Who knows? So the rudder, or the bomber, is getting an engine. And oh, look at that. He might fall out. And sure enough, there's a 10. So he takes the engine damage, and he actually is fallen. And he can't get up. So we come back over to here. So this becomes a fallen, and now all of a sudden the spaces around it are -1. The rudder damage and the engine damage are both coming together, and we're going to put them on the turn 1 along with a bomber. And then we also, I almost dropped my camera. He does progress 1 space. I put the no ammo on him, and we got to take care of that. So I think we said he was climbing, so he would progress his 1 space to here, and this is now a 1 for the purposes of the ongoing check instead of a 2 because of that fallen. But before we do the ongoing check, we got some more stuff to do. We get an experience point for the staff, just 1, because the bomber is fallen. And he has his med alert. He's fallen and he can't get up. All right. And then the pilot gets an experience point for knocking him down. And the pilot was, who are you? Clausen. So he gets an experience point there. Okay. So that's good news all around. And then, yeah, if somebody pursues this thing and destroys it, then we'll get a victory point. and then possibly even more experience points for the staff and for the pilot. I can tell you with certainty that we don't know for sure. There's no guarantee that this thing's destroyed. Obviously, if we roll well enough, it will be, but there's no guarantee, of course. So now let's do the continuing fire, and he is 1. He is not diving. See, if you're diving, you get good things. So we were climbing, so he's going to take a hit. So that part's unfortunate. He is out of ammo, so I guess him taking a hit is not that big of a deal. This one might be survivable. It's at least a lower number than an 8. So now we keep going. So as you can see now, we have a guy out of ammo. We have another one that is very likely going to be wounded. Our swarm is ruined. Like, we're not going to get a swarm again because we don't have 4 fighters that are going to be able to attack from the same box at the same time. So when you do this swarm setup, like, the Jeff method, if I can call it that, it's really a one-hit wonder. You got to make the most of it when it happens. So now we're going to go ahead and do this one, which is he's dive rolling, and he's attacking here. So that's an oblique, and his threat level is normally it's a 2, but now it's a 1 because of this. So it got reduced, and he's evasive, and you know that because he's flipped upside down there and it says evasive. So he's coming in low, and it's a 1, and he's evasive. What an awesome call. We do 1 damage to him, and then he's going to roll dive this way and end up here. And that will be a 2, by the way. So let's get our hit in first. And so the hit is on the engine. Oh, this might be a good one. Oh, I rolled a 4. Oh, you stink. It's a 5. I mean, that's like a 50% chance. So anyways, it's an engine damage on him. And we do have to do a continuing fire now. And this guy is not a FW190, so we got to switch to this. He's evasive 2. And then there's a debris. If I get an even, I put a damage on the nearest bomber. If it's odd, the fighter is hit. Okay? But we don't get hit from this, so we're okay here. So that's good. And let's hope we roll an even. And we do not. Oh, you stink. Okay, so the hit is another big one. It's a rudder. All right, so not good. Not good. All right, so now we're going to do Ifland up against him. And remember, we're coming in level nose. And the threat level is 2. And just need to grab the right card. Level nose determined. 2. We're taking 2 hits. We progress 2, but we do a damage to him. Okay, so the progress 2 is he's going to go 1, 2, all the way down to there, which is a 2. And Ifland has luck, so we're going to go ahead and use that. So this was mission. My pen's not working very well. Mission 4. We're going to go ahead and use the luck again. So we cancel one of the hits is what I'm doing. And here's the other hit. Oh, that's hopefully a doable one. And we do 1 damage to the bomber. And we get another engine with a hopefully decent roll. And there we go. We got the 5. So we did 2 damage engine hits to him. And you can see there, there's no actual damage to the bomber number-wise, but 2 engine hits means that we're going to get a lot of TP because there's going to be 2 markers on him. And normally you roll a 9 to a 10 to destroy him, but now it's a 6 to a 10 because there's 2 damage markers. And you do one at a time. Like the first marker goes on, you roll to see if you get a 9 or a 10. Then you do the next marker, and then you roll to see if you get a 6 to a 10. So it's not like you put them both on and only roll 1 time. So going to go ahead and put that on. Here, I think that one's a really good candidate of being an auto destroy, and like I'd like to turn it on the white side to show that. That one, we might even be able to send a no ammo guy after him. if the no ammo guy survives the recovery. All right, so the next thing is I didn't use my swarm because this one is also fallen. All right, so a couple of things. The pilot was Ifland, and Ifland is going to get 1 victory point, so he's up to 3. And then the staff is going to get 1 experience point, so it's gotten 4 so far for this particular mission. And now we got to do continuing fire, and he is an FW 190, and the threat level is 2. So here you could see, again, if he was diving, he would get to skip. So I need to probably be more aggressive about diving. And yes, we take another hit with that. So that's not good. The first hit was 2, so that wasn't bad. This one's a 4, so it's still, odds are in our favor. But ask Katniss how that worked out. And now we're on the last bomber. So we've almost taken out the entire element. So we have this guy, Bar. He's attacking here. It is a nose level, and it's normally a 3, but this makes it a 2. So nose level 2, we do 1 hit and nothing happens to us, and we progress 2. That is awesome. So we're going to progress 1. Now, we're actually going to go into the next element, and that does affect how many fighters are in your element. Because 1, 2, we go into this element, and yes, that 2 is going to affect us. This -1 does work, but that's too far down. Okay, so that's an important rule. I just crossed into another element when I did that. And so when I draw the continuing fire, that continuing fire is going to impact bombers in that element, not bombers in this one. That's another important thing. Not all continuing fires impact bombers in your element, but you have to pay attention to what element you end up in. But we're not done. We got to do the hit on the bomber first. So let's do that. Okay. First hit is a wing. So you want the little destroy symbol. We don't want the fallout. All right, so he has 3 damage, and I'm going to use this swarm. I have to use it or lose it. So I'm going to use the swarm. We're going to do 2 more hits. I mean, there's nobody else left to attack. So I got an engine hit, and I rolled a 1, so he's not going away. So that goes there, and I'm going to use the last swarm to do 1 more hit, and it's a wing. And I didn't roll a 10, so I flip that over, and I have enough wing damage that if this guy falls, he's an easy kill. He's an auto dead. So the swarm is used. That we almost didn't even get to use it, but the good news is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the cohesion check. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do continuing fire. He is an FW 190 with a threat of 2. He is direct, so he takes a hit. Roll a die. If it's even, a damage marker on the nearest bomber. If odd, skip. And nearest bomber, of course, is going to be in the next element. It doesn't say that, but that's really where the nearest bomber is to him. So let's do his hit first. Okay, so he has an awful hit. And then we're going to roll. And we, oh, look at that, odd. Skip continuing fire, breakaway now. So we don't get the hit. Oh, that's really good news, really, really good news, because this was a bad hit. Okay, so we get breakaway now, and so he's climbing, and he's determined, so he'll end up here, and Bar makes it to live another day. That is awesome. Also, I forgot that Bar actually has the quick skill, so he could have switched to evasive to avoid taking that hit. So if he had to have taken the hit, he could have still avoided it. So now we break away. That's the last thing that happens. So this guy was diving, so he goes here, but he was evasive. right? So this is the first time you're seeing someone evasive, so he actually returns here. So it's going to take him 2 turns before he makes it out of the return box. And it's actually going to be 3 turns because he can't move because he's damaged. So he's going to be out for a while. These guys over here, this is like a big crap show. They're all going to end up on this over here. But one of them was diving, and it was Oblisser. He was direct, and he's not damaged. The other ones, however, are all damaged, and they were claiming, so they're going to go there, and that one's out of ammo. He was also claiming. So basically we have a whole bunch of guys in that box, and 3 of them are damaged. Okay, all of that was just turn 1. So here we go to turn 2. We have 2 bombers we can pursue already. So there's some victory points just sitting out there for us. One of them I think is possibly going to be a kill when we get there, but it's not a guarantee. So I probably shouldn't have flipped it to the white. This one, if we can get him to go down, will be a guarantee. Okay, we're on turn 2. The first step is move. There is nothing that can move because nobody is in a box that's movable. Next, we do return. So this guy returns to low. This one returns to high. Everybody else sits tight. So now we do recovery. So we're going to start here. He has a 7 rudder. And I rolled a 4. My luck ran out. And so he goes into the rudder damage. And this is loose. Somebody put him on the loose. Okay, so he's out. Now we come over to here. And we got some more tough rolls coming up. Let's do the 8. That's a rudder. I rolled an 8. Oh my gosh. The luck just keeps coming there. Fray is in the fray. All right. Next one is a 4, a wing, or a 2 wing. We'll do the 4 first. And watch me now roll bad. Oh no, that's a good 10. So we got that one. Now we got to roll again for this one. Oh, I barely made it, but I made it. So Iflin survives. And can I make it 3 for 3? This one's a 4. Oh no, I rolled a 1. That's awful. He was out of ammo, so I guess I don't need the ammo token anymore. But he has a fuselage damage. That one's not super nice for surviving. But he only needed a 4 or better. He could have survived. He really could have. And with him being out of ammo, he would have been the perfect guy to hunt after this one. Because I have a feeling it's going to go down. Okay, so we're in the recovery phase, and there are fighters in a box. So I can choose to reduce the mission limit, the flight limit by 1, and do a regroup, and actually get 1 tactical point because I don't have any spaces. Well, actually, I have right there. This is a return box with 2 guys in it. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce my flight limit by 1 and take 2 more tactical points. That's what the regroup does. And now we're going to go ahead and go to blast and flak, and then cohesion. So the only cohesion check worth doing is this group right here. And like I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to roll a 5 or higher for the cohesion to stay the same. So a 4 or lower, and things happen. And there's the 4. So now the element is loose. So that makes the cohesion check even harder because now there's 6 units on the board, and it means all the threat levels all the way around are lower. So now this is one of those situations where strategically there's enough turns left in the game that the cohesion checks alone should be enough to make that bomber drop out. Like, you should not have to need to attack it anymore. It's got enough elements that you should be able to roll. If you roll well enough, it should fall out on its own. So we'll see, but that's the whole idea. And it's a risk. You have to decide what kind of risks you're willing to take or not. But yes, that's the issue there. And we have an element that's loose. And now we go to attack. There's no attack. We're at the end of the turn. So we go to turn 3. So right now I can go after those 2 bombers that fell out with my 2 fighters that are still left. And to be quite honest, I see no reason why not to. I think it makes sense. So Oblace is going to go after one, and Bar is going to go after the other. So we're going to go into the pursuit map. And this is 2 victory points. I mean, I can't afford to miss those. And I'll have Bar go after the tougher one, and him go after the not so tough one. And we're actually up here. So this is only a space of 1. So, I mean, even if I roll a 1, I still succeed. So I'm going to easily intercept those 2 bombers. Those bombers are not getting away, assuming that those are the 2 bombers that those fighters are going to go after. And right now, that's the plan. Okay, so that's the move. And then we got a return step. So these 2 are going to return. And so we still have 2 fighters out there. And escort doesn't happen yet. Recovery, nothing. And then we do cohesion again. So let's see if it degrades. And it does not. He rolled a 9. And then we do attack, which is nothing. So the mission turn now goes up to 4. And remember, the escorts are coming. So we got to make our move, and we will. We're going to go ahead and attack high. Aim high, Air Force. So I bet you didn't know that Goering invented it first, right there. Aim high, Air Force. So we do that. There's no return. We got the no escort. Recovery. Let's do cohesion again. The cohesion fails. So this now goes to kaput. So the number of elements is still there. It's 6. If I roll a 1 to a 5 the next time, then that bomber falls. And then that whole element is gone. And when the whole element is gone, there's that one optional rule where this whole thing would have been a -1 to this element and to that element. And we chose not to do that, but that's one of the concepts in the game is they call it the shrinking elements or whatever. Okay, so we did the cohesion and now we got to do the attack. So we got 2 guys coming in from the tail. Now what I could do is I could make them in the same space, which would then cause some havoc with, I have to do a collision check, but it is my best shot at taking out a bomber. There's all kinds of ways you can look at this, but I think what I'm going to do is just split them between 2 bombers. Now I could go after these 2, which is probably not a bad idea. Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and split them 1 apiece. Now, are they going to be determined or what are they going to be? I have no idea. What we're going to do, though, is we learned our lesson. We're going to dive with both of them, and we're going to go straight. So we're going straight to the nose, and we're going to dive towards the nose. We are high with both of them. I don't get swarm. I would only get Rada if I put them both in the same space and I was willing to do a cohesion check. Or not cohesion, I mean collision. I'm not willing to do that. So the question is am I going to be determined or evasive? So what's the difference? Well, the evasive means that it'll take you longer to get back into the action, but it usually means that you take less hits. But it also usually means you dish out less hits. So you got to be, a little careful. Who are these guys? Ifland and Frey, right? Ifland already used his skill. Frey doesn't have one. You know what? I'm going to go evasive with both. Let's try to stay alive a little bit and see what happens with this guy. I want this one to fall out, and I need to stay alive. So let's do that. And attack. Fight! All right, let's go. We have This is a tail high attack that's evasive. And the threat level is 2. So that's not good. I didn't say who was first, so we're going to go ahead and say Ifland was first. Here's that ride the tail thing I was telling you about. Look at all those nice juicy R's. But yeah, we're taking a damage. So high tail really sucked. The threat level of 2 is what really made it stink. Okay, we take a damage. Not much I can do about that. And, oh, that's a good one. It's a 2. I will take it. And he doesn't move from his location, so his continuing fire will be a 2. And look at that, the evasives get hit. Jesus. If it's a green pilot, after resolving, spend a TP, blah, blah, blah. But look at this, the evasive gets hit. Oh, you guys suck. I give up. All right. And that's not a good one. It's a rudder. So he's going to probably be out. The whole point of going evasive was not to get hit. Okay, so now I'm going to do a hightail for the next one. A hightail of 2 is a hit. So hightail stinks. I think you need to make sure you're level tail. So we did nothing. And that's another nasty hit. So then we do continuing fire. Okay, this one, see, if you're climbing, it moves further up, but you can break away to the tail position, but that doesn't mean you don't get hit. But we were evasive, so we finally avoid a hit. And since they're diving, let's bring the camera over here. They both come to this location with damage, so the game could be over. And that's what stinks about this. It's like, come on. The whole point of going evasive was not to get hit, and everybody got hit. So, okay. Mission turn goes up. We are now on turn 5. We do a move. Nobody moves. We do return. Nobody returns. We do escort. So I'm going to roll for the escort, and I rolled a 9. So this one is going to above trailing, which is, as you always know, a bad spot. And now we're going to go ahead and do recovery. This one's an 8. And I rolled an 8. Oh my gosh, we got lucky again. So this one is Frey. He stays in the evasive box though. And then this one is an 8 rudder or a 4 or 2 wing. Let's do the rudder. I rolled a 7. Oh, it was so close. So we got Iflin going into rudder territory. And so we got one guy holding the show. Blast and Flak, and then now Cohesion, which, like I said, there's 6 of them there, so I need a 1 to a 5, and it's a 10. So that's bad news. So what happens with a 10, it's higher, it's a 6 or higher, so this flips back over. So now we got to wait 2 more rounds before he can drop out again. That's the risk. So next is attack. There's no attack. So now we go to mission turn 6. So there's no move. We return 1 space like that. We're going to roll for the below trailing. I rolled a 10. He goes to above trailing. And then the above trailing rolls a 4. And he's going to the return box tail high. So return box tail high. It's right there. So basically, he's got the tail high cornered. It's not often I actually see them go there. That's why I paused for a bit. Okay. Cohesion. Let's see. I rolled a 4, so the cohesion goes back to kaput. And now we move to turn 7. We actually only have 2 turns left in the game. Or no, I'm sorry. That's the tactical points. We got a lot of turns left still. Okay. Turn 7. No move. We return. We do escort. So I'm going to roll for the below trailing. It's a 2. It's moving to the forward station. So it goes here. Now the above trailing is a 9, which is the box with the most fighters. Oh, you suck. Right there. Escorts stink, folks. Stinks with everything you could ever imagine. All right, so now we got to do... See, the issue here is that even if that bomber falls, I don't have a fighter left to pursue him. And my fighter's not going to survive this. I mean, it is an FW-190, I believe. But there's no outcome in the box against a Spitfire where he comes back to the game. None. Actually, well, no, right here, the R's. But that's only if you're in the top row. And we're not in the top row. So there is no such thing as a 1 on the back of these. I mean, a 2 is the most generous one you're going to find. And that's outnumbering us. So, and then are they higher than us? Of course, they were higher than us. So we're a no. And we're a no here. So we're in the bottom row. So BBB is break off, where it means a fighter exits. So there's no positive outcome to be had here. And I roll a 1, which is even worse, because the S means that we're scattered and we're destroyed. So fighters exit, and the escort marker returns to below trailing. And then the little X means a fighter is destroyed, and I have to check for bailout. So now I'm rolling here, and a 1 to a 5, 50% chance I'm killed. And who is this? This is Frey. Come on. Oh, I got a 6. I will take it. So he's wounded, and he gets an experience point for that. But it means he survives. That's the part. That's the reason why I said I would take it. So Frey is wounded, but let's give him his experience point first. That's his first one. And what does it mean to be wounded? Well, when you're wounded, you go in that little red box way up at the top there. And I'm going to move the camera up so you can see it better. So it says place wounded BF-109s here, even though it says storm above the Reich. So they didn't fix that. There's QA issue number 2. At the start of each subsequent mission, you may attempt to return each wounded pilot to duty. Roll a die. Return to duty is successful if you roll a 9 or a 10. Any other result means it stays. And a 9 or a 10 is a difficult roll, folks. So if you get enough wounded people, then you lose the mission that way. So, but he's not dead. At any point, I can replace him. Now, replacing him is not the same as a pilot being killed, but it means that I'm going to have to lose a veteran pilot and get a green one. That's the problem. So, if I replace him, I have to replace him with a green pilot. So I'm allowed to do that. And really, the only time you would do that is if you're dangerously close to losing the game, because you don't have enough pilots that are available for missions. And remember, I'm only allowed to have 2 pilots wounded. If I get a third, then I lose. And that's when I would have to basically accept a greenie. Okay, so there's no fighters left on the map, so the map is over. But just for giggles, I'm going to go ahead and roll the cohesion check. And there it is. There's a 5, which is less than the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what would have happened is this bomber would have dropped off, and we would have gotten experience points for that. And then the fighter would have flown over and verified that he was dead because he has 5 wing damage. That's an auto destroy. So if I would have just had 1 fighter that survived, I would have gotten a guaranteed victory point for that one. And that is how close this game is from us doing really well to us having a crappy day. And we're having a crappy day in that regard. So let's hope we get victory points some other way. But for mission 4, map 2, I would say we didn't do that bad for this being map 2. The escorts are what killed us. Dang escorts, I don't like them. And at some point, when you get enough experience points, that might be the one thing you're going to have to spend your points to get rid of them. Because escorts, they do make life miserable. Okay, so we are done with mission 4 mostly. We got to do some pursuit maps. But before we do that, we might have more damage, guys. So let's go ahead and do the pursuit map. So let's get this out. And I'm going to do exactly what my original plan was. So we're going to do Obleaser. And this guy has 2 engine damage. And so you can see we're going to gain 2. And then we're going to gain 3. So I'm actually at 5 just from the engine damage. And I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 more tactical points to get up to 7. And yeah, that's what I'll do. So I have plenty of tactical points. All right, so first engine marker comes out. Misses. And then second one comes out, and now we got a 6 to 10. And there's a 6. It's destroyed. Good question. Do I decide how many tactical points I'm spending before I do this or after? Because I would like to get those back. That's a good question, Jeff. Thank you for asking. It's almost like you were staged in the audience to ask that question. Pursuit map setup, page 6. We make all of our fire and bailout checks before we determine tactical points. So I can go ahead and get those 2 tactical points back. And then I want to make sure that I really do get to roll twice while I'm here. Okay, I'm going to have to pause. This is a little more complicated than I thought. Okay, I had to jump around a couple of different pages, but it flat out says each time you place a marker, you immediately roll the die. So we did it right. Those 2 markers require 2 dice rolls. And that's sort of the idea, is that you're damaging the engine multiple times and you're getting multiple bonuses because of it. So I had this one, the white side, because I was pretty suspicious I would get it, and of course I did. But there's good news in a lot of ways here. It got destroyed before we arrived, so the pilot doesn't get any experience, but the staff does. And so we get 2 experience points for the staff, and then we get that all-precious victory point. So now we got the 5 so we don't lose the game. So we're going to live to see another season. All right, now, and then he comes home unharmed, so that part's not bad either. Throw those in. Okay, next one is this guy. And it is Bar, who's going to give them the bar tab. We have 1 rudder damage out of 3 and 1 engine, so he's going to get 2. And we actually have 8 tactical points on the board. So I'm going to spend all 8 to go up to 9. And I think 9 is the max. I don't think I can go to 10. Maybe there's no reason why I can't go to 10, I guess. So I'll go here and call it 10. Gosh, I will check. Is there a max? There is no maximum. So we're good. We have 10 tactical points. So let's roll the die. For the engine, nothing happens. So we are in the battle. So, I keep saying, okay, let's go high for 3 TP, and it doesn't really work out for us. So what do I want to do? I mean, to be quite honest, I actually think I want to go level tail, because level tail seems to be the best. We're right behind him. We're matching engine speed with him, and then we get to shoot pretty evenly. I actually think I like that more than any other position. So I'm going to go level tail. It is free. I should go high tail, but we're going to go level tail. It is a threat of 1. So right here, I am determined. Level tail, and there you go. I can ride the tail, but I take a damage. Now, Bar has a quick skill where he can just switch down to here and do a hit, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to switch to evasive and do a hit. Now, when he switches to evasive, it's going to cost him 1 tactical point to be able to go from here over to here. So that's fine. We'll spend the 1 tactical point. I forgot to roll for the sun. I rolled a 1, which means no sun, so no impact there. And we do 1 hit, so let's get that in. Let's shake it up a little. All right, and here we go. I got a fuselage of 1. So the fuselage adds a few things together, but it's really only 2. So we're nowhere close to killing this guy. All right, so now I get to place. I'm going to go level tail again, and that cost me 1 TP. So let's do level tail. It's a threat of 1, and I was direct. I forgot to mention, and there I am. I'm hitting. So again, we get another hit. And it is a wing of 2. So we do roll for that. And I rolled a 5, so nothing happens there. And we continue. So I'm going to spend another TP, and I'm staying level tail. Threat is 1. And here I'm going to take a hit, and I'm going to do a hit. So let's go ahead and do his hit first. Or the bomber's hit, I mean. So the bomber is getting another wing damage of 1. Which means we're going to now roll again on this table, and the table now becomes 7 to 10 instead of 9 to 10, and it's a 2, so nothing happens, but we take a hit. So this is going to be what decides whether we can get a victory point or not. And oh, that's bad. It's an 8, and I rolled a 4, and we're out. So we took fuselage damage, and nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. And, oh gosh. I don't remember, but I put Clausen on the fuel. I said he had fuel damage, but I think he had fuselage damage, which means that's up here, not fuel. So, if I got that wrong, please correct me, but I think I think this said fuselage. I don't think there was one that said fuel that I'm aware of, but it is possible. I mean, there's all kinds of different damage out there. But this really stunk. I was really tearing up this bomber, and I had tons of TP points left, and I was gonna get him. Okay, I do see damage in here that says fuel. I guess I'm going to go with whatever I originally said, because I would swear that I didn't have anybody that had fuel damage, but maybe I did. Okay. Let's wrap this up. We could lose another person. Okay. I may have to help my son, but let's try to finish the mission here, and then I can go help him. All right, so let's start with Bar. He's our expert. We don't want to lose him. He is an FW190, so he's using this column right here. I don't know how well you can see, but we're going to go ahead and roll. I rolled a 6, which is not bad. He does crash, though, but he falls into the top category here. Oh, gosh, there's a real good chance he's going to die. And I rolled a 7. So we are good. He is a yes, so he actually survives the whole thing. He does get a victory or a point for it. So who was that? That was Bar. So we're up to a 2. Okay, so now we go to Clausen. Oh, he rolled a 3. So he is an FW-190. He explodes. So on a 1 to 8 chance, he's dead. This is why I'm pretty sure it was a fuselage, but Clausen is dead. Okay, so now he's Clyde. He had 1 experience point, now he has nothing. He's going to get Blackout. Whatever that skill is, he has Blackout. And we have 1 more pilot that's dead. So we're up to 4 now. Okay, let's do Iflin first. I rolled a 9, FW-190. He lands, he gets an experience point. And then a 3, he crashes. And I rolled a 9, he bails out just fine. So we get experience point for Luz and for Iflin. So Luz gets 1, and Iflin is now at 4. So he's almost to the promised land. And they both make it home. Okay, so from a season score perspective, we have 4 dead pilots out of the 6 that would take to lose the game. We made it through 4 missions out of the 6. So we have mission 5 coming up. We have 5 total victory points. And like I was saying, just trying to grab the manual here. If you did not earn this many, you lose the season. We needed to earn 5. So we are in the zone where we're going to at least survive the season. Like I said, we're really close to the loss limit. And it says if more are killed than the loss limit. So I need to lose 7. Okay, so just to make sure you understand that number. And then this is the pilot minimum of 16. We are now currently at 17. So we normally have 18. That's the maximum you can have. We're down to 17 because 1 guy's wounded. So we're hovering here, but we have options. And yeah, so 1942 is still rocking and rolling. We at least got out of the red zone, and we're into the black, but we're not into the green. So this is definitely not on pace for a season win. But this is why I love this game. It's very tense. And I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of luck, of course, but most solitaire games have that. So it's just a really nice mix of luck and strategy. So this is like a DVG game on steroids. That's what this game reminds me of. And the only person who makes a DVG game that's as complicated as this would be Dean Brown with his B-17 leader. And I think he's coming up with, a World War II naval one, which I'm very excited about. He makes really complex DVG games. I know, like Hornet Leader and all those other ones that I really love to play, they're really, not that complex. It's just there's a lot of planning. So they're good in their own right, but this one, I think GMT just, this designer, this is still a fantastic game. Merging the 2 games together is, I'm so far not sure how much benefit I'm really getting out of it. Right now, I don't think there's any other way I would ever play it again. I would always merge them together. But I wish there was more from the merge. Like, as far as the game goes, it's an awesome game. It always was awesome. It's still awesome. It's just, I wish they would have done more with the merge. But this is the other weird thing. 1942 is a wimpy season, and you don't start to see the rest of the game design until you get into those upper years. So I might be speaking prematurely, but that's where I'm at right now. Anyways, thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome, stay healthy and safe, and we're off to Mission 5.